Atlanta News First Plus starts now.
Thank you for joining us here at the First Alert desk on Atlanta News First Plus. So we are coming at you with another installment of Catch Up Quick, where we go through your top stories, news headlines, and First Alert weather. It is December 8th. A happy start to your Monday. We are going to be joined by First Alert meteorologist Isaac Williams here in a couple minutes with a look at your forecast. In the meantime, I am Maria Moreau, and you are looking right now at your screen. This was the scene throughout the night and into the morning of a massive fire in southeast Atlanta, now under investigation. This happened at an apartment complex on Mount Zion Road, and that's where we find our Atlanta News First, Sarah Hammond, with the First Alert breaking news tracker, reporting the latest details of what we know in this investigation so far.
Thankfully, nobody was hurt in this apartment fire. That is the good news this morning. But take a look here at your screen at what firefighters were dealing with overnight as they worked to knock down these flames. Atlanta Fire Rescue tells us all 8 units in that building were damaged, but half of them were actually vacant. Again, no one was hurt, but firefighters say they did help pull one man out of the building. They also say a woman was displaced and now she is staying with family.
We did have one person inside of the unit. Okay. They got him out. We were unable to locate where he is, but he didn't have any injuries at the time of our arrival.
Firefighters have since wrapped up their work at the scene, but they say they are still investigating what exactly caused this fire, and we will, of course, keep you updated as we learn more. At the Atlanta Public Safety Headquarters, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
Police are working to determine who is responsible for breaking into more than 100 cars in Grant Park. Police who were canvassing the area say that paper started to run out to document all of the break-ins. That is how much damage this caused to the area. Atlanta News First Justin Berger reports on where police are now in their investigation. And I do apologize. We are just having slight video issues with getting you that report. I just want to communicate through the basic details right now. Again, this is the area of Grant Park right now. Police are conducting an investigation and looking through every individual car, trying to piece together what they can, and talking with the neighbors in the area who are frustrated at this point. They say that they want something to be done to increase the safety in this area. One neighbor even reported saying that they couldn't take down their statement because police ran out of paper. That is how bad it got. Those who live specifically on Waldo Street between Hansel and Glenwood said that 11 vehicles on that one block were broken into. Some items were stolen, some of those still missing right now, and no clear word on suspects or arrests at this time. That's something we're going to continue to follow. Vandalism to those vehicles in this area, again, is something that frustrations are growing within the neighborhood, and now the community is asking officials to do something about it, to increase patrolling, to increase safety in the specific area surrounding Grant Park. So that report from Justin Berger available for you on our website at atlantanewsfirst.com. I'm going to keep things moving here. I think I got some video back. Take a look at your screen here. New developments as we're continuing to follow the story of a man who is wanted for killing at least 2 people in Gwinnett County. Now we can tell you he is in police custody. That is a map for you of kind of the 2 scenes that were central to this investigation. Our Atlanta News First reporter Mary Kate Hamilton is in Gwinnett County with more on this complicated case now that is crossing state lines.
The man now also faces charges in Tennessee: reckless driving, driving under the influence, possession of a handgun while under the influence, and fugitive charges. This all started when officers responded to a person who was shot in the neck in Gwinnett County. Then they were told 2 other people had been shot and killed in a car just down the road. Officers were able to determine the 2 shootings were related, and they had their suspect, 54-year-old Javier Aragon Ruiz, who was fleeing to Tennessee. Tennessee state troopers were able to track Ruiz down and arrest him in Robertson County. He will also answer for his crimes in Georgia, where he is wanted for killing at least 2 people and shooting a 3rd.
This case proves that state lines do not stop law enforcement from working together. While we're thankful to have the murder suspect off the streets, We cannot forget the tragedy that started this.
Major Plotzer went on to say that he hopes this arrest is able to give the families who are grieving a little bit of peace. Reporting in Gwinnett County, Mary Kate Hamilton, Atlanta News First.
And a heads up to all my flyers, you are taking a look at some of the fog we saw over the weekend. Right now, continuing multiple delays and cancellations out of the world's busiest airport. At last check, 148 delays were reported at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, and 145 flights have been canceled. Again, this coming after a ground stop was issued Sunday morning as a result of that fog that you see on your screen. Again, that is file footage that we pulled from yesterday for you. At that point, more than 1,400 flights were either canceled or put on a delay as officials were waiting for weather to clear. Today, those cancellations continue, not necessarily fog related. We have been told that was more of a precautionary de-icing of the planes so that they can safely take off into the air. But airlines want to remind you to make sure at this time to check your apps before you head to the airport, in case any changes are made to your flight. And by the way, check your weather app because you never know when weather is going to impact your day. And I want to bring in First Alert meteorologist Isaac Williams now to take a look at what we're dealing with as we get further into the work week ahead.
Yeah, Maria, it's been very gloomy and foggy, as you mentioned. Again, we're looking at kind of the time lapse there of the fog that was with us yesterday morning, and we had it again this morning. And we are going to continue to have to deal with dreary weather for a little while longer before things get a little bit clearer later on in the week. So that is good news. Again, that's the fog video once again. And the good news is that this morning is that the airport is reporting 8 miles of visibility. So a much improved picture now that we get into the 11 o'clock hour. Even this morning, we had a couple of hours where fog was reported down to a half mile visibility. Not as intense as what we had yesterday, but still it is something that definitely continued to cause some issues this morning. A little bit of clearing on the way this afternoon. Hopefully, we have had a very dreary stretch. In fact, over the last 10 to 11 days, we've only really had one mostly sunny day. We've had 10 mostly cloudy or overcast days. A peak or two of sun this afternoon at 47 degrees. By tomorrow morning, we are going to be colder. So the clouds act to, of course, keep us cool during the day, but it also keeps us a little bit warmer overnight. With a little less cloud coverage expected, we're going to see low temperatures by tomorrow morning get down to near freezing and maybe even drop below freezing. So a more noticeable chill will be in the air getting into Tuesday morning. The rest of the week's forecast, though, is actually fairly quiet. We don't have a lot of wet weather to talk about. After this morning's early rain, we are looking better for the rest of the week. A system here will slide through Wednesday afternoon, but limited moisture doesn't look like it's going to bring anything other than maybe a brief increase in cloud coverage. Thursday, Friday also look dry. A little clipper system Friday afternoon to the north here, again, keeping us mostly dry. So it doesn't look like we're going to see any measurable rain unless something changes going forward here. So the 7-day forecast actually looks brighter and milder for the rest of the week. We have highs in the 50s to near 60 on Friday. Morning lows down in the 30s still, so chilly in the morning, but not super, super cold. I want to talk about the weekend, too, because yesterday and the day before that, we were looking like we might have a big blast of cold air get here, but it looks like that worst of that's going to stay to the north of us. So this morning, we're watching some snow in the Virginias, eastern Kentucky, and northern North Carolina, mainly north of I-40, as the system sort of spins up here and brings quite a bit of snowfall up to the north and east of us. High pressure in Texas eventually builds in and kind of gets us a little bit better with the sunshine and a little bit brighter out there as well. Futurecast here for the rest of the day keeps obviously the snow continuing there in West Virginia and North Carolina. The area of low pressure spins off the outer banks of North Carolina. And again, high pressure eventually builds in. I mentioned the cold. So I want to track this cold blast. Again, some of the latest models still have some really brutal stuff up in the Midwest. But that red line is the freezing line. And this is Friday, Saturday time frame of this week. And notice we look to be a little bit milder. Now, could something change? It's not going to be it's not going to take much, I should say, for some of that cold air to maybe get down into the southeast. The upper air wind flow would only have to change a little bit for that to happen. So we'll be on guard still for our possible cold blast for the weekend, but at the moment, trends are in our favor of staying fairly mild instead of getting some of the brutal cold, because a couple of days ago it was looking like it could be in the teens around here, maybe seeing wind chills that low as well. So it's looking much better as of the previous couple of days of model runs. But we'll keep you posted here on ANF Plus and, of course, inside the First Alert weather app.
Thank you for watching ANF Plus. For more breaking news, live coverage, and your community stories, download the Atlanta News First app. You can also watch us on YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. To join the conversation on YouTube Live, visit our channel and hit subscribe. You can also listen to the Atlanta News First podcast by searching Atlanta News First on your preferred listening platform.